my name is Courtney Seiberling. I am the author of Yogas, Yamas, and Niyamas, 10 Principles for Peace and Purpose. And what follows is a physical practice of one of these principles. So if you like what you experienced or are interested in learning more about these principles and yoga philosophy, you can buy my book on Amazon. Namaste. Hi, so today we're going to do an Ahimsa practice. So this is a practice for peace. And what you'll need is a bolster, so a nice firm pillow, a blanket, and 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you're welcome to use books. They're about the same size. So come to sit up on something. So you're welcome to sit up on your pillow, on a blanket, or on one of your blocks. Place your hands, palms down on your thighs. Lift your heart, close your eyes, and just arrive into your body, noticing how you're breathing. And Ahimsa, peace, really starts with kindness to ourselves, and we can really cultivate that by starting to breathe kindly within our body. So see if there's anything you can shift in the way that you're breathing to create a nice, calm, steady breath. So nice big inhales through the nose and out the nose. And as we work with Ahimsa, Ahimsa is one of the yamas, I really invite you to be really kind to yourself today in your practice. So allowing postures to be what they are, allowing them to happen, not forcing them to happen. Go ahead and flutter your eyes open, take a soft gaze at the floor in front of you. And then you're going to place your palms down to either side of your hips. And we're just going to start practice really gently. So taking your left ear to your left shoulder, opening up the right side of your neck, those little muscles. And then if it feels okay, you can start to walk those right fingertips out to deepen the stretch. And if it's too much too soon, you can always keep that palm closer to your side. Nice deep breaths into the side of the neck. And then go ahead and walk those fingertips back to your heel, keeping your gaze steady at one point. Walk those left fingertips out and take your right ear towards your right shoulder. Nice deep breaths, and this side might be different. Remembering to be kind, that's what we're practicing. We're physicalizing these concepts in the body. And then go ahead and walk those fingertips back in. And then we're going to come to child's pose. So you'll take your little blanket or whatever you're sitting on off to the side. You're going to place your knees as wide as the mat. The big toes come together to touch. Your seat will sink down towards your heels, and you'll extend your arms really actively, reaching towards the front of the mat as your forehead touches the floor. If that doesn't happen, which, sometimes it doesn't for us, you're welcome to put a block underneath your forehead. But you really want to find some contact with the earth. So peace really has to do with grounding. So we're going to be doing lots of grounding postures today. See if you can really let your hips sink towards your heels, fingers spread wide, heart melting towards the earth. And take a few breaths here into your child's pose. Nice big breaths, filling up the low back, the upper back, the belly, the chest. Remembering to approach all these postures today with a sense of kindness. And this pose is always available to you whenever you need it. If anything gets too challenging today, this is your kind of break point. So this is where you take your little time out if you need it. And you're welcome to stay here, or if you're ready to kind of get going, let's come up to hands and knees. So you'll stack your wrists underneath your shoulders, the knees stack underneath the hips. If you have sensitive knees, a lot of us do, you're just going to place some padding underneath the knees. So wrists are under shoulders, knees are under hips, tops of the feet are flat to the mat. So you're making a little tabletop here. You're going to pull your belly in towards your spine, pressing into your knuckles so your arms are active here. And then we'll come in for a couple cat-cows. So on your next inhale, belly drops to the mat for your cow. Maybe you gaze up a little bit. And then pressing into your knuckles, round in your upper back, press into your palms, really get some space in that upper back. It should feel pretty nice. And then inhale, belly drops. So we really want to connect our breath with our movement. Exhale, belly and spine come together. Nose comes in towards your belly button. Inhale, extend it out. And exhale, pull everything in. Coming to a neutral spine, you're going to extend your right toes back, really press into that right hand, and then maybe you extend your left arm long. Really keeping that, pulling the belly into the spine. So that's going to protect the low back. So option to stay here. If you're already feeling some kind of stuff going on, you're welcome to stay here. Or if you want to come in for some balancing, extending the right heel up and back, pulling the belly into the spine, reaching forward and reaching back. So instead of getting really high, think about getting really long. You should feel some fire starting in the body. See if you can maintain that nice calm breath that we started our practice with. One more nice, big, full inhale. And on your exhale, hand and knee down. Let's take one cat-cow. Inhale, belly drops, heart shines. Exhale, pull everything up into center. And then coming back to our neutral spine, switching to the other side. So extending your left toes back, pressing into the left hand, pressing those knuckles down. Option to stay here, or you're welcome to extend your right arm long, keeping that right shoulder plugging back into the socket. Pull your belly up into the spine. And then maybe you come in for balance on this side. So toes are pointing down, heels extending out, reaching forward like you're gonna shake someone's hand. Couple nice big breaths here. Remember to pull that belly into the spine to protect the back. And it's okay if there's a little shaking, that's totally normal, that's you getting stronger. And then exhale, hand and knee down. Let's take one cat-cow. Inhale, belly drops, heart shines. And exhale, press into your knuckles, rounding the upper back. Really nice. Coming into a neutral spine, let's take another child's pose. Knees wide as the mat, big toes come together to touch, heart sinking towards the mat, forehead reaching towards the floor. Again, you can place a block underneath your forehead if it's not quite reaching. Remembering that nice, steady, calm breath. So that's what we want to work with in our yoga practice, our nice, calm, steady breath. And then you're welcome to stay here if you need more rest. Or if you're ready for more, let's come back to hands and knees, tuck your toes, and then you're going to send your hips to the sky for our first downward facing dog. So the heels are reaching to the mat, the inner arms are rolling in towards each other, knuckles are pressing down. So we don't dump into the waist, we really press into our knuckles. Maybe you want to pedal the feet out. This is a great chance to kind of see what's going on in the body today, what you're working with, what's tight, what's loose, what's energized, what's tired. And then after a few pedals, coming to stillness, maybe shaking the neck side to side, see what's going on in there. Maybe nodding your head yes and no. And then go ahead and look in between your hands. You're going to step your feet in between your hands. So it might be a big graceful movement. It might be a few steps. It might be totally ungraceful. Doesn't matter. Nice bend in the knees, grabbing opposite elbows, or you can let your fingertips dangle to the mat. And if you're feeling a lot of tightness in the back of your legs, really bend those knees. It's totally cool. Let your head go. Take a few really big breaths here. And then just notice your feet, where you're putting weight into your feet, and see if you can even it out. So if you're putting all your weight in your heels, see if you can spread some more to the balls of the foot, vice versa. And then imagining that you have roots growing down from your feet to the center of the earth. We're going to start to rise up. So we root to rise. So pressing into your feet, keeping a bend in your knees, you're going to slowly roll up like a rag doll. Head is the last thing to come up, really maintaining that contact with the floor. And then placing your hands at heart center in a prayer, lifting your heart up into your hands, rolling your shoulders down your back. Maybe feeling your heartbeat beating against your hands. Remembering that nice steady breath. And then go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Hands are going to come to the side. If you have a blanket on your mat, go ahead and take that off. And we're going to come in for a series of sun salutations. So coming to the top of the mat, placing your hands at heart center, lifting your heart up into your hands, close your eyes. Remembering that we're working with kindness, so as we start to move a little bit more, can you approach every posture with kindness, not forcing anything, allowing whatever's going on in the body to happen today? And then go ahead and flutter your eyes open, palms come down to the side, really feel your feet grounding into the mat. And then on your next inhale, we're going to extend the arms up and overhead. Exhale, little bend in the knees to forward fold. And it's okay if the fingers don't quite reach the floor or the mat yet. And then inhale, halfway lift to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. So we're connecting breath with movement. So it's like a little dance. Inhale, press down into your feet, lift up in your arms, spread your heart wide, reach to the sky, and then pull your hands into your heart. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Breath with movement. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, little bend in your knees, forward fold. Swan diving forward. Inhale, hands on shins, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep it up to the sky. And exhale, pull your hands into your heart center. So 1 more, really connecting breath with movement. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Last one, inhale, sweep it up, press down into your feet. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to come right into our first chair pose. So you're going to sink into your hips. So sinking down like you have a little baby chair in back of you. You can bring your hands to your heart. You can place your hands on your hips if you need some stability. Or if you're feeling super energetic and open today, you can extend your arms wide by your ears, fingers active. Maybe sinking 1 inch lower, lifting your heart 2 inches higher. And then we're going to exhale to forward fold. Really nice. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, we're going to place the hands down on the mat and you're going to come into your first plank pose. So plank pose, if this is too much too soon, you can always put your knees down, or if you're working on building strength. Or you lift your knees up, you send your heels to the back of the room, pull the belly up. So we want to get lift in our plank. So we're not sinking down into the plank, we're trying to lift up. So pressing into the knuckles. Again, you can maintain all this movement in the body by placing the knees down. So it's still as strong and active. And then hips to the sky for your first, or not your first, your maybe 3rd or 4th downward facing dog. So pressing into the knuckles, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, inner arms rolling towards each other, hips lifting tall. And then you're going to go ahead and lift your right foot way up to the sky, so toes stay down. And then you're going to pull your knee in towards your nose. You're going to round your upper back, and you're going to step your right foot where your right hand is. So we're coming into our first warrior 1. You're going to spin your back foot flat, about a 45-degree angle. Press into the outer edge of your back left foot. Right knee stacks over the right heel, extending your arms to the side like wings. So this takes a lot of strength. See if you can find your nice, calm, steady breath as you really sink into that right hip and the heel and the thigh. And then you're going to press into your feet to lift your arms up. Now, if this is too much on the shoulders or you're getting tired, you can place your hands on your hips. You want your hips square to the front of the room. Pressing again into that outer edge of the back foot. So that amps up the back leg so that it's not all falling on to the right leg for the work. 1 more big inhale here. And then exhale, the hands will come to either side of that right foot. You're going to take your right foot to meet the left in your downward facing dog. Really nice work, you guys. Pressing into the knuckles, checking in with how you're breathing, checking in with your kindness. Are you being nice to yourself? Are you pushing yourself? Maybe you need to take a child's pose and rest. And then if you're feeling good and you want to keep moving with me, inhale to lift the left foot up, toes point down. Hug your left knee in towards your nose, and you're going to step your left foot where your left hand is. Spinning the back foot flat on this side. So 45-degree angle on the back foot. Think about pressing into the outer edge of that back right foot. Left knee stacked over the left heel, arms come to the side like wings. And then whenever you feel ready, when you feel nice and stable, arms come up by the ears or the hands come on the hips. So think of your little tail lights on your hip bones shooting to the front of the room. Pressing into the outer edge of the back right foot, really sinking into a 90-degree angle, lifting your heart here, softening the pose with your breath. And if you need to come down into child's pose, please do. So we don't want to stress ourselves out with our yoga. Our yoga is here to support us, to make us feel balanced. And some days we just need more rest. One more big inhale, and then exhale, the hands come down. Left foot steps back to meet the right. And then option to stay in your down dog, or if you're just feeling cooked and you need rest, come into your child's pose. So knees is wide, big toes come together, forehead rests on the mat. And we'll take a few deep breaths here in our resting pose. So downward facing dog, as an advanced practitioner, is a resting pose. And if that's not you just yet, coming into your child's pose. And then next inhale, let's lift back up to hands and knees. Taking your toes, tucking them under, hips to the sky for your downward facing dog. And then looking in between your hands, you're going to step your feet. Maybe one big motion, maybe a few. Inhale, halfway lift to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, lifts it up. Bringing the hands up and overhead. And then bringing your hands into heart center. So just a couple more standing postures. So we're going to come in for some good thigh work, and we're going to keep our nice, kind, peaceful mentality as we do it. So you're going to come into a yogi squat. So your feet are going to extend out from your hips, a little wider than your hips. You're going to come to what's called malasana, or a yogi squat. And if your heels are coming way off the mat or it feels super uncomfortable in any way, take care of yourself with your blocks. So you can place 2 blocks underneath your seat. You can place 1 block underneath your seat, whatever feels like it gives you some support. You can also put a blanket underneath your heels if you're not having contact with your heels. Lift your heart up into your hand. Nice, slow, steady breaths here. And then we're going to come in and out of this shape. So we're going to press down into our heels. We're going to lift ourselves up. So on your next inhale, pressing down into your heels, lifting yourself up. And then you're going to exhale, coming back down into your squat. So almost like you're a little froggy. Inhale, lift it up. And then exhale, pull it into center. And you can take a break if you need a break. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, coming into squat. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lifting it up. Exhale, coming into your squat. And take rest if you need it. Please, please, pretty please. Inhale it up. And then exhale, squatting down. So just a couple breaths here, lifting the heart up into the hands, maybe closing the eyes, maybe taking a drishti, which is where we focus on one point. And that really keeps our focus so that we don't get distracted, so we can still the mind. And then go ahead and place your palms down onto the mat. Take your toes in, and we're going to come to a forward fold. So a wide forward fold. And then on your next inhale, you're going to roll yourself up to stand. So for our last standing posture, we're going to do tree pose. So if you're new to the practice, I suggest coming to a wall to give yourself something to lean on. If you're an advanced yogi, coming to the middle of your mat, the top of your mat, hands at your heart or hands on your hips. And you're going to really start to ground down into that right foot. So almost like you feel that right foot shooting little roots down to the center of the earth, like kind of what we started with that visualization. And then you're going to take your left foot in like a little kickstand. And just see how that changes your balance. If you feel good and stable here, you can take that foot up into the calf or the inner thigh, or you keep it down on the ankle. Remember, you can place your hands at a wall. Maybe the hands come into heart center. Everything's moving in. So think about pressing your right leg into your left foot, the left foot into the right leg, palms pressing together, heart lifting. And then option to stay here with the hands, or you can grow your branches if you want to play with that option. Maybe you look up. There's all kinds of things you can do in this shape. And remember that trees kind of bow and bend in the breeze, so it's normal if that's the experience in the body. Gazing at one point, one more big inhale here. And then we'll gracefully exit just like we came. So hands come back to heart center if you've extended them out. And then go ahead and step out of the shape. And then just shaking it out. So new opportunity on the other side. And remember, we're practicing kindness. So if you're getting frustrated with yourself, we're just standing on a mat, trying a pose. It's not a big deal if it happens or it doesn't happen. So go ahead and now the left leg, the left foot becomes our trunk. Hands come to the hips, right foot comes in like a little kickstand, lift your heart. And already here, feel everything working towards center. So everything's pulling towards the center line. And maybe this side's a little different. Maybe you stay here for this variation. Or maybe you put the foot into the calf or the inner thigh. Option to place the palms together. Or if you want to grow your branches, maybe taking the risk to look up and see what happens. Maybe you fall, maybe you learn something. Maybe you take yourself less seriously. One more great big inhale into whatever the experience is. And then bringing everything back down. So just exiting the way that you came in. Really nice. And then taking everything down, right? Shake it up. So we're going to come to legs up the wall. So hopefully you have a wall in your house. It could be a door maybe. And this is a great posture to really kind of relax the body. So you're going to come and place your left hip against the wall. You're going to tuck yourself super close in. You want to get as close to the wall as possible, and that will help you later on. Then you're going to come down to your elbows, and you're going to shoot your feet up the wall. So you want your low back, your bottom, everything to be as close to the wall as possible. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or if you want to extend the arms out, whatever feels good for you. Close your eyes, or take a soft gaze at one point on the ceiling. And just start to nicely, deeply, softly breathe in this pose. So it's easier when we're relaxed to really kind of cultivate that deep breath. And this pose is super good for all kinds of things. So this pose is good if you're tired and you need some energy, if you've had some period cramps going on, if you've been moody. This is a great pose for circulation. And I kind of call this the apple of the day pose. So great pose to do before you go to bed at night, if you just need a reset. So we're going to be here for about a minute. Softly and steadily breathing into your heart center. And if you start to notice some little tingles in the legs, that's totally normal. That's your blood recycling all through your system. Super healthy. If it ever gets to be too much sensation, you can slide your heels down to about your knee height and just take a little rest there. Even in this relaxation, can you really stay engaged with what's happening in the body? So we don't tune out in these moments, we try to tune into what the experience is. So using the practice as a way to know ourselves, to connect. And yoga means union, the breath and the body connecting as one. So see if you can really experience that here. Go ahead and flutter your eyes open if you've closed them. And then gently start to slide your heels down the wall. And then you're going to roll over to your right side. So we're not going to get up just yet. We're just going to let the knees fall over to the right. And then you're going to cradle your head into your inner arm on your right side. You'll just take a little side child's pose there. Maybe noticing any shifts in the body. And then whenever you feel ready, pressing yourself up with your left hand. And then go ahead and grab your bolster or your pillow. You may or may not need it. We're going to come into hero's pose. So you're going to take the pillow the long way, or you can use a block. And you're going to come to take your knees in. So this is like the reverse of how we do child's pose. So the feet will be out, and you're going to come to sit on your pillow. Lift your heart here. So if you feel any pain in the knees, probably stop and maybe just come into a regular child's pose. If you're not feeling enough, maybe the pillow is not the right option for you. Maybe you come to sit in between your heels. Only if your knees are really good, if you're used to this pose. You can also put 1 or 2 blocks or a book underneath your seat. Place your palms in your lap, lift your heart, and we'll just take a few nice, steady, soft breaths here. Really starting to focus on that exhale as we wind our practice down. So we're really good at inhaling, but can you be really good at exhaling? So nice, long, steady exhales. A few more nice deep breaths here. And then you're going to walk yourself forward back to hands and knees. We're going to gently exit this posture. So you'll move your block or your bolster or your pillow away. So your hands and knees. And then we're going to tuck our toes, send our hips to the sky gently for our final downward facing dog. Noticing any shifts here, so it's probably a little different than your first down dog today. And then the knees come back down to the mat. Really nice. So our last active posture, we're going to come into what's called goddess pose. And if you're a gentleman, you can be a goddess too. It's all good. So you're going to take your pillow the long way again. You're going to probably want your 2 blocks. You may or may not need them. Whoops. And you're going to come to rest your booty to the back of the bolster. The soles of the feet are going to come together. And then if you have tight hips, you're going to want to tuck your blocks or your books underneath your hips. So the idea is that you want support here. And then you're going to come to lay out over the pillow so that your heart is spread wide to the sky. Palms come down to the sides. Maybe tuck your shoulders underneath you to accentuate that heart opening. And then nice slow breaths here into your heart center. Allowing the weight of your thighs to fall into the blocks or the mat. And we're going to come in for some counted breath work here, really sinking into the breath. So go ahead and empty your lungs of any breath that you have. And then your next inhale, you'll breathe through your nose for 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath at the top for 1. And then exhale out the nose for 2, 3, 4, hold the body empty of breath for 1. And then inhale through the nose for 2, 3, 4, hold the body full of breath for 1. And then exhale out your nose for 2, 3, 4, body empty of breath for 1. And then just allowing yourself to breathe however it feels good to breathe in your body right now. If you're feeling super good in this shape, you're welcome to stay here for your final rest. Or if you want to move into a traditional Shavasana, you'll take your hands to the outsides of your thighs, you'll draw your knees together, you'll press your props away if they're there, and then you'll roll over to one side, making a little pillow for your head. And then you'll press down into your hand to lift yourself up. You'll move your prop to the side. And then you'll come to lay out in what's called Shavasana or corpse pose. Palms up to the ceiling, feet are about as wide as the mat, shoulders tuck underneath you a little bit. And so every practice we end in this shape. This is a symbol of death. And when we get back up, we have a chance to start again. So a new opportunity, a new life. So if you've been holding any kind of a specific breath, practicing your Ujjayi breathing, let that go. Let the weight of your body sink into the floor. And we'll take about a minute here, resting and restoring our practice. Start to deepen your breath, filling yourself with new opportunity. Maybe finding a little wiggle in your fingers and your toes. Your next inhale sends the arms up and overhead, toes point towards the camera, towards me for a full body stretch. And then pulling the knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a little hug, some gratitude for making this time for yourself today. It's so important. And then rolling over to your right side, making that little pillow with your inner arm. Really feeling the ground beneath you, always there to support us. And then go ahead and press yourself up. And we'll come back to a comfortable cross-legged seat. So you can sit up on something or just sit on your mat today. Palms down again on the thighs, heart lifting, eyes closed. And just noticing how you feel. So something has probably shifted. I would imagine that you feel more grounded, calm, centered. And the idea is to take this practice off the mat. So maybe choosing to share this kindness you've created in your body with others as you go through the rest of your day. And Ahimsa, this practice we've been working with, means peace, non-violence. So maybe can you be a little kinder in your judgments this week? Can you choose maybe through the rest of your day today that anytime you find a tinge of annoyance pop up or anger, whatever it is, can you just take a breath in that moment and choose a kind response? So we have so much power over our thoughts and actions if we just take a little initiation to do so. And drawing the hands to heart center, bowing the chin into the chest, lifting the heart up into the palms. And every class we always finish with a little sign off, which is namaste, which means the light in me acknowledges the light in you. Namaste.